MMA Boxing Talk here. I just want to give my 213 main card predictions. I'm going to put them all together in this video. If you haven't already checked out my Nunes versus Shevchenko prediction video, definitely go check that out. I have Shevchenko winning a fourth round TKO. So go check that video out now. I'm going to start off with, of course, the co-main event. Yoel Romero versus Robert Whitaker. I absolutely love this matchup. Two absolute savages. Yoel Romero's 40 years old. Robert Whitaker is 26. But Yoel Romero is a freak for 40 years old. He doesn't look like like a 40-year-old, and he doesn't move like a 40-year-old. He's, a physical specimen. Now, obviously, Romero has Olympic wrestling. He's got explosiveness. He's got patience. He's got deadly knees, back fists, spinning back fists, and just a lot of power as well. He can put you out with just one shot. Robert Whitaker is a very good striker. Has tremendous takedown defense, and he's going to need it in this fight, I believe. Even though Yoel doesn't usually focus too much on wrestling, maybe he will in this fight because I believe Whitaker is a superior striker than Romero. Whitaker has also great footwork, and what I like about Whitaker is that he really knows how to blend his karate with his boxing very well. He has a lot of options, a lot of looks, and great cardio. He's young. I think age might play a factor if this fight goes, into the later rounds. But I have Robert Whitaker winning this, and I know this is a toss-up fight. Of course, Yoel Romero could end up for the first 10 minutes just lull Whitaker to sleep, and then in the third round just catch him with something. But I think Whitaker's a very smart fighter. I think he's very alert in there, and he's dangerous himself. So he's gonna keep Romero honest, and I see Robert Whitaker winning this fight. I gotta go decision. It's kind of hard to believe, but I think Romero's gonna be a hard guy to put away. So I'm gonna go with Robert Whitaker by decision. And then the fight before that, it's a late replacement. Omnia Lamchuk versus Blades. It's a heavyweight matchup. Curtis Blades is always improving. He's really came a long way since his early days when he fought Francis Ngannou. He's improved quite a bit since then. He's training at up in Colorado, the Muscle Farm team up there, Elevation Fight Club, I think it's called. But anyway, I'm definitely going with Blades. I've seen Omnia Lamchuk fight before, and I don't think he's gonna have anything for Blades. Blades is gonna go out there and probably stop him. So I'm gonna go second round TKO for Blades. And then of course we have a trilogy. Fabricio Werdum versus Alistair Overeem. These guys have fought in all the major UFC organizations. They fought back in Pride in 2007, which was the last year of Pride. And then they fought in 2011 in Strikeforce. Now they're fighting in 2017 in the UFC. So it's came full circle. And it's a meaningful fight. The winner could be in line for a title shot if Cain Velasquez, doesn't get the next one against Stipe. So this is an important fight. Both guys they're 1-1 in their fights before. A lot has changed. Overeem still a great striker, but has a different style. He really doesn't like being the nail. He only likes being the hammer, and now he'll just turn his back and run. So I don't know. I mean, but then again, we've seen Werdum, be really reckless against Stipe Miocic. I don't think he'll do that. I think the crowd and all the pressure in Brazil maybe got to Werdum, and that's why he sprinted at Stipe. But I think Werdum, obviously, his striking's improved drastically since 2011, and I just see him. I think he's gonna win this fight, but it is definitely a toss up. But I'm gonna go with Werdum, and I'm gonna go with a 3 round decision. And then the first fight on the main card, we have Anthony Pettis versus Jim Miller. I like this matchup. I think this is a perfect matchup for Pettis in the sense that he was fighting always the top 5 guys, and then of course when he went to featherweight, he fought, I believe, Oliveira, who I think was ranked number 6, but then he fought Max Holloway right after. So now he's going back to fighting, Jim Miller, who's a solid opponent, no doubt. He's not ranked, mind you, but I got to go with Pettis just because he's been in there with, more recently, with higher level fighters. He's been in there with an RDA. He had a decently, I mean, it wasn't that close, but he held his own when Pettis fought Barboza. So I mean, Pettis is used to fighting these high level fighters. So I gotta go with him against Jim Miller. I think Jim Miller, his best way of winning is make it a dirty fight. Look for maybe a submission. I don't see him submitting Anthony Pettis unless he can hurt him on the feet, and I don't really see him hurting Anthony Pettis on the feet. I think this fight is going to stay, standing, and I think that Pettis is just going to pick him apart, maybe get a stoppage, but I'm actually going to go decision for Anthony Pettis, and that's it for the main card predictions. But definitely go check out my Nunes versus Shevchenko prediction video I put up a couple days ago. That's it for this one. Enjoy the fights, guys, on Saturday, and also enjoy the fights tonight. Should be a couple good ones. I'm excited for the main event, Johnson Gaethje, and of course you can't miss Mark Diakase, a bone crusher, making I think it's his 5th fight in the UFC. So that'll be an exciting one too. That's it for this one. If you liked the video, subscribe. Check me out on Twitter at MMA Boxing Talk 1. Peace.